Today is going to be the ultimate total football tactic that averages 65% possession, so definitely one to check out. And if you guys do enjoy the videos on this channel, be sure to leave a like, drop a little subscription, and hit the notification bell. But let's get into the testing phase. Today, we test with 6 teams. So the first team is going to be with Club Brugge over in the Belgian division, where we won the treble, that being the Europa Conference League against Lille in a very comfortable final, the Jupiler Pro League against everyone, obviously, which we won by quite a decent amount, to be fair, and also the Belgian Cup against AA Ghent. We scored 100 league goals, conceded only 22, and picked up 0 red cards. So a very, very good season over in this division. And in terms of the team stats, we had a very, very impressive run in as well. Most points per game at 1.48. Most goals at 100, most shots for at 731, fewest shots against at 277, most possession coming in at 63, fewest conceded at 22, and the most clean sheets coming in at 24. And obviously Total Football is obviously meant to be, you know, get everybody involved and things like that, and sometimes it's very hard to replicate. I feel like I have done a great job of that, and we have pretty much covered every area. I mean, we've got the most possession, we've got the most shots, we've got fewer shots against, we're scoring goals, we're not conceding many, we're not really doing anything wrong at all. And in terms of the data hub, again, it shows it again. 2.5 goals a game, which is very good. You've got conceded at 0.5, so a really good defensive display. Over 18 shots a game, around about an 87.8 pass completion, so even that's good. This tactic is really performing well in every aspect of the game. And then over to PSG, where 3 trophies wasn't enough. We won 4 trophies, that being the Champions League, the French League, the French Cup against Strasbourg, and also the Trophy de Champion against Toulouse FC. So a very, very good run in there, making it a quadruple winning season. 124 league goals, only 22 conceded again. So very similar stats to before. Again, 0 red cards, so that's back to back. We do love to see it. In terms of the league table, it was pretty one-way traffic, as most of the time the French League is. It's going to be Marseille and Nice obviously making up the top 3 alongside of us, which we were quite dominant in, to be honest. In terms of the team stats, again, we're going to be featuring, I believe, in exactly the same ones. Most points per game at 2.53, not half bad there. Most goals at 124, practically double of Marseille. Most shots for 800, you know, quite a few more than Nice in second place. Fewer shots against at 214, most possession at 62%. That is a 3% increase over Nice, who obviously find themselves in second place, which, by the way, 59% isn't a bad stat line at all. Also picking up the fewest conceded at 22, which we're quite clear of, and also the most clean sheets at 21. Again, we're quite clear of that stat line, a 6 difference. In terms of the data hub, though, we are going to be seeing 3.65 goals per game, so it has increased by a goal. It is to be expected. We are PSG, and we are a clear dominant team in this league, and we can take on absolutely everybody and stuff teams 3 or 4-0 on some occasions. Conceded per game, 0.65. On this occasion, over 23.5 shots a game, 87.55 pass completion, and a tackle-win ratio of 73.44. Over to 9th place predicted Oxford United now, obviously in Sky Bet League 1, and I wanted to test with a team that aren't favourites, because Total Football isn't always made for the smaller teams, but we have clearly overperformed that 9th place prediction, as we didn't win the league, but we did get automatic promotions. By 1 point, we missed out on first place, but to make up for that, we did win the Papa John's trophy. Now, as you can see here, there is going to be one stat line you're probably worried about, and that is going to be 6 red cards. So clearly with a little less disciplined players, this is what can happen, but I am going to go over ways you can limit that, because a lot of it is down to the actual player instructions. In terms of the league stats, though, 108 goals, 37 conceded, which I'm going to take for a team predicted to finish in 9th place. And in terms of the team stats, this is the real impressive one. 65% possession. So we rank in 1 out of all of these good teams in Sky Bet League 1, with a team predicted to finish in 9th. So when you're doing that with these group of players, you know how good this tactic actually is. In terms of the most shots for, over 860, and the most goals coming in at 108, alongside of 358, rank 1, fewer shots against. So this is the real one that stood out to me. That is going to be 65%. Now, when you're doing this as a team predicted to finish 9th in the division, you know exactly how good this tactic is, because it wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't this good. I mean, we're 9th place. We're out possessioning, if that's even a word, teams that are obviously 8 places above us and have got some really good quality teams as well. We also pick up the most shots for, the fewest shots against, and on this occasion, the most goals at 108, which is quite a few more than Peterborough. Over to the data hub now, where we pick up 2.35 goals per game, a conceded of 0.8, so still really nice to see that being way under a goal a game, especially with a team like this. Over 18 shots per game, practically 19 to be honest. Pass completion of 87.15 and attacker win ratio basically touching 74%. On to the next team, and we're going over to Germany with FC Bayern, where we win the treble on this occasion, missing out on the Champions League. We got rounded to the 16 really against PSG, so not the best display in the Champions League. Being honest with you guys, we did, however, win the Bundesliga, won the Pokal, and also the German Super Cup against RB Leipzig. In terms of the league table, it's going to be obviously a very, very comfortable. I mean, it's 19 points. It's nowhere near a challenge, realistically. 100 league goals, only 20 conceded. And in terms of the team stats, as you can see right now, it's going to be Bayern all over. Most points per game at 2.62, most goals at bang on 100, most shots for over 650, fewest shots against us at 248, most possession at 64. So this tactic, by the way, I believe ranked 1 in every single test we've done when it comes to possession. So this is really a treat for you guys. Fewest conceded at 20 and the most clean sheets coming in at 18. And going over to the data hub, we are going to be looking at 2.94 goals per game, a conceded rate of 0.59, just over 19 shots a game, which is really impressive, a pass completion of 88.85, and attacker win ratio of 72.92. I felt a little bit bad for Leicester after their relegation, so we have now done a little test with them in the Championship, which we absolutely dominated. And we also got to the FA Cup final, where unfortunately we missed out as Liverpool do beat us, which is to be expected. We scored 129 league goals and only conceded 35, and won this Championship by quite some division. It's going to be Blackburn and Leeds obviously do rejoin us back into the Premier League, and my local team that's just going down into 7th place. Not what we want to see, although not a bad first season for them, to be fair, but we really did run off with this division, guys. And I mean, the stats, I believe, is actually the only one we don't rank 1 in possession. It is going to be Southampton that clench it by 1%, as we still maintain a 65% possession stat, which is absolutely incredible. And obviously, if we look where Southampton finished, they finished in... Where did they finish? In 6th. So they were too focused on possession, probably not having enough shots on goal, etc., etc. Obviously, this is meant to do a little bit of everything in the game. So if I really wanted to max out the possession, we could have easily beaten them. And in terms of the points per game, 2.59, 129 goals, fewest conceded coming in, or fewest shots against, sorry, at 330. That would be worrying, isn't it, if we were conceding 330 goals, and most shots for at 942. And over to the data hub, you're going to be looking at 2.8 goals per game, a conceded of 0.76, just over 20 shots a game, practically getting on for 20.5 shots per game, a pass completion of 87.52, and attacker win ratio of 75.51. And lastly, over to the Portuguese division, where we tested with FC Porto, and we won the Portuguese Premier League, the Portuguese Cup against Benfica, and the Portuguese Super Cup also against Benfica. So any Benfica fans, probably not your favourite one to see, to be honest, but we absolutely stormed the league, as Benfica also didn't have a great season as well. We actually won the league quite comfortably by 8-7, and 7-point difference over Sporting in 2nd place. 118 goals scored, only 34 conceded, which on this occasion actually wasn't the best, to be honest with you, and picking up 3 red cards as well, but still not enough to take our mind off winning the league. Let's just put it that way. In terms of the team stats, we've got a feature in a couple of them, 4 of them actually, more giving myself not enough credit here. Most points per game at 2.59, most goals at 118. This is where we really did stand out. Most shots saw at 825, and the most dribbles made coming in at 552. And just to let you guys know, possession-wise, we still had a very good stat line. 63% is going to be the final stat line. And over to the data hub, we are going to be looking at 3.47. Still technically we didn't concede over a goal a game in any of these tests. This is by far the most we've conceded, which surprised me a little bit, because Porto are a very good team in this division. But as I say, these tactics sometimes work in one league and not in the other, or they work better in one league and not in the other. This might be one which is not going to perform the best in, unless you sign the certain players for that role. In terms of conceded, bang on 1. Shots per game at over 24.26 to be exact. 87.33 pass completion, and attacker win ratio of 73.61. So let's watch some goals then. That is going to be firstly a 7-0 win against Bochum in the Bundesliga, and it is going to be an absolute thumping of a game, as we are going to see the delightful match engine get off to a great start inside of 3 minutes. Now imagine your team actually getting off to a start like that in real life. Luckily, I support Manchester United, so we never make mistakes. Going over to the second goal of the game, and it is going to be Sane with a great ball over the top into Mane, and as always a combo of Mane Mane and Sane. Obviously, Bayern Munich actually offering Mane out, apparently, for up to £20 million, which is, in my opinion, worth a punt on them in real life. Plays it out to Gnabry again, back into Konrad Laimer, over the top, into Mane. And what you're going to see with this tactic is, it's not going to be the most elegant tiki-taka all the time. It does have that side of the game to it, as you would expect. But you can also expect to see a bit more of a direct approach. You see everybody getting involved, winning the ball back, and just literally going from one end of the pitch to the other. And when you've got Mane firing in goals like that, you know you're going to be on for one. I believe he scored 5 goals in this game, had an absolutely incredible season for this Bayern Munich team. Really did suit this style as well, as we are going to see now. I mean, look at this, guys. In terms of players in the box, we've got Gravenberch now, by the way, who is obviously a box-to-box midfielder or a midfield player. He's essentially playing right wing, really getting involved. We've got, obviously, Gnabry on the cutback. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 players in the box. We've also got Konrad Laimer, who could receive it on the edge. He goes in the middle, and Mane gets ahead of his man. But I just wanted to show you that because everybody gets involved. And that's what makes this football so good. It is quite an aggressive, system. You need to have players with good fitness, obviously, to cover all of the areas. As I've just seen, probably one of the best set pieces in a while from a free kick. A great header there from Upamecano. As Choupo-Moting plays through Thomas Muller, Laimer was making a great run there, but he did get ignored. Through to Choupo-Moting and Sadio Mane. Now, he has got 5 goals this game, but he has been fed. And now we have a 5-0 win over Lille in the Europa Conference League final. Now, I know the Europa Conference League isn't a massive European trophy for some, but to be beating a team like Lille 5-0 in the final just shows exactly how good this tactic is. As we actually do get off to a very hot lead here, and a second goal does come just inside of that second half, pretty much seconds after the whistle goes. It's going to be a great ball in the box. And I noticed with this Club Brugge side, a lot of the chances did come from more direct play, so I think it also adapts quite well to the players you have, and it's quite easy to tweak to that as well. As you can see here, pretty much 3 of the 3 goals we've had have either come from putting a great ball into the box or going over the top. Obviously, Club Brugge's strikers are quite physical players, so it does suit to go that way about it. And if you have got physical strikers, I would recommend actually trying to tweak it a little bit to suit it, because as you can see, it works really well. That is 4 goals now. All 4 have come from more of a direct approach. So, and the last one is going to be a set piece, possibly, or it's going to be a little bit of quality on the edge. It's going to be a great first touch into Boyata, who's going to take a hit. That is a great hit. Lucky rebound, but that is 5 very good goals. And just to show you some more goals, we've got a 7-0 win over Toulouse, obviously in the French division. And this is one of them games where we absolutely took over with this French league team. I mean, Mbappe scoring inside of 15 seconds. Now, I don't know what your quickest FM goal is, but let me know in the comments if you've ever beaten 15 seconds, because that is quite some start. As we go again here in the 22nd minute, again, it's going to be Ugarte, obviously their new man, through to Mbappe. And when you put this guy through on goal, he doesn't miss. Simple as that. And you're seeing now how deadly this team can be. It's going to be Lee with a great ball in the box into Mbappe. A decent clearance, to be fair, but Paredes working hard to win it back into Neymar. A great first touch, and that is an absolute peach into the top right. And that is 3 very high quality goals so far. Don't know what the others are going to be like, but we are going to strap in and see, as it is going to be a great through ball and a great first touch and an even better finish. It's not going to be a finish. It would have been the perfect goal, but unfortunately goes off the post, not across the line, but Mbappe's there to pick up the scraps as always. Diallo over the top now, a decent clearance again, but Neymar just simply outworking the opposition through to Paredes, through to Neymar, and that is a great bit of link-up play. You see how easy it is for that midfield to get it through to a final shoot and chance for a forward player. We do it time and time again, and PSG have made some very good signings. Like I see Skriniar there as well. They have made some very good signings this season, and Mbappe hits it first time. I think the keeper definitely got caught off guard there. Even I did. I thought he was going to take a touch, obviously hit it into the right-hand side. But Mbappe does what Mbappe wants, as we all know, as Fabian plays it through to Paredes, who takes a very interesting first touch, does win it back, and it's on the turn from Asensio, and a very comfortable 7-0 win. We are not going to break down the tactic for you guys, but if you are enjoying today's video, please do leave a like, drop a subscription on the channel, and hit the notification bell. And also, if you're a tactical viewer, please do check out the rebuilds as well. They are very entertaining. I've had a lot of good feedback on them recently, and we're rebuilding pretty much any team you guys want. So do comment below on any teams you want to see rebuilt. And if they get good feedback, as in other people like in the comment, I'll be sure to make it happen. So this is going to be Daily's Total Football, and as always, there are going to be free variants today. And if you guys do wish to download all 3 variants, you can check out the Patreon in the description. It's a great way to support me as a creator. You also get access, obviously, to all 3 of these files in one simple download. You get early tactic release, early video release, priority in your tactic and rebuild requests, one-on-one tactical help, and also access to the exclusive Patreon giveaways, which are going to include a couple of copies of FM24, some football shirts, and possibly in the future, some tickets as well. But let's go ahead and talk about the defense. default variant. So it's going to be set up automatically on the attacker mentality. In possession, we've got fairly wide pass into space, play out of defense, a shorter passing directness, a higher tempo, and that's pretty much it for tab 1, because we don't want to overcomplicate things. Obviously, the whole point of this is to get everybody involved, and sometimes it's hard to do that if I'm telling certain players to overlap and that's all they're focused on and things like that. So it is going to look fairly basic, but trust me, that's how you get this tactic to work really, really well. In transition, we've got counter press, distribute to the centre backs while taking short goal kicks. Now, a lot of this stuff does change in the attack and defensive variant, so I would recommend you stick around for that breakdown as well. But this is going to be a very good sort of baseline for you to go into your games with. And out of possession, we've gone with a higher defensive line, which in my opinion is a must in the default variant. The only time this changes is going to be when we go over the more defensive one, but this is really how you get the most out of a total football tactic. The higher line, the high press line of engagement, more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and while doing that, get stuck in. If you are picking up way too many bookends, it will completely change the whole point of this system, but you can take off, get stuck in for a more disciplined approach. Now, going over to the player roles, we are going to have a sweeper keeper on attack, on the default instructions, a ball playing defender on the right on defend, on stay wider. In the middle, we've got a ball playing defender on defend, on default, and on the left, got my right and my left mixed up, a ball playing defender on defend, on stay wider. Now, you can use wide centre backs if you wish to, but for me, I personally prefer having ball playing defenders that are simply told to stay wider. I did try it with wide centre backs and it really wasn't as good, but that is completely up to you guys. That is one tweak which I'm going to let you guys decide, because either technically do work. In the middle, we've got a DM on support, on hold position and tackle harder. We've got a box-to-box midfielder on support, on pass it shorter and move into channels. Next to him, an advanced playmaker on support, on dribble more, roam from position, and also, I believe that's it actually. That is it. That is it for these instructions. On the left, we've got a winger on support, on cross aim centre. On the right, we've got another winger on support, on cross aim centre. And in the middle, we've got an advanced playmaker on attack, on get further forwards, roam from position, and also move into channels. And to finish it off, the cherry on top, the advanced forward on attack, on shoot more often. Now, these wingers, if you're wondering why they're not on attack right away, it's because having them on support really does help them link up a lot better. They obviously find themselves in all sorts of areas. Obviously, when you are simply telling them to attack, they're going to be all the way up here, and that's not the point of this tactic. Obviously, we want everybody getting involved, everyone to play anywhere, essentially. So there are a lot of supportive roles on this team, as you can see. There's actually going to be 5, and that is for a very good reason, in the fact of that is how you get this tactic to perform as a total football tactic. But let's go over now to the attack and variant. Some things do change in the attack and variant, and it might not be down the entire total football route, because obviously sometimes when you're chasing a game, you just have to make sure you're getting the goals. Despite the way you want to play, you need to get goals, and that's exactly what this is going to do for you. So we've still got fairly wide, we're still passing into the space, still playing out from the back. This remains exactly the same, but in the first tab, the only change is going to be more expressive, because obviously this allows your players to be more expressive. In transition, we've simply changed it to distribute quickly. Now, this here, when possession has been won, I really didn't like changing it too much, because although I said you have to do whatever you want to do to try and get goals, having it on counter-attack completely transformed the way this team played. It didn't really feel like total football at all, having that on. So for me, I decided not to have it on. But the big difference here is going to be this much higher line. Now, this completely transforms the way the team plays. You're really aggressive, don't get me wrong, so you are going to be pretty much pushed up to the halfway line. But if you can have the ball at your feet, the other team panic, they go back and back and back towards their own goal, and eventually you're going to break them down and get a goal. But I will say, I would not recommend going into a game like this, because it is very attacking and you can be vulnerable to counter-attacks, as you can imagine. In terms of the trigger press, it's still going to be on more often, still preventing short goalkeeper distribution, while also getting stuck in. And in my opinion, there's no point not having this on. Like, if you've got to stay on feet on an aggressive attack and tactic, in my opinion, you're not doing it right. So I would 100% have get stuck in on, especially if you are using the attack and variant. And going over to the player roles, a lot of it does stay the same. So for example, again, this comes down to the way of total football and how I want it to play. I didn't want to go around faffing about with actual player roles too much, because it's going to change the way the team plays, and then it's not going to be a total football tactic. It's essentially just going to be, what is it, a 3-3-3-1. So, you know, I want it to be known as a total football tactic, not as just a 3 at the back system. So the only changes that come in are going to be the Metz-Island that comes in on attack. He plays a very similar role and works really, really well. On dribble more and shoot less often. The winger goes up to an attacking duty, and exactly the same on the right-hand side. Everything else remains the same. Over to the defensive variant. Now, this one is to be used in the last sort of, I would say, about 10 minutes, possibly even 5, because it is really, really a defensive tactic that is simply used, which you can slap on for when you're defending a game out and you just want to get a win, basically. That's going to be on a standard width. Going to have pass into space, play out of defense, shorter, slightly higher tempo, time wasting, maxed out to frequently, dribble less, be more disciplined, and mix crosses. In transition, we're going to have counter press, slow pace down, distribute to the centre backs while taking short goal kicks. And out of possession, we've got the standard line, so we have dropped that back quite a distance. High press, stay on feet on this occasion because we are now defending. We're trying to time waste a little bit and just pretty much suck the energy out of the opposition and prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and more often on the trigger press. I don't know if I mentioned it, but a balanced mentality. And in terms of the player roles, again, they're going to look very, very similar. And in fact, I think the only change that does come in on this occasion is going to be the DM. And he is simply just added in on defend, on tackle harder instead of a supportive role. Everything else does remain the same, as you can see right now. Obviously, this advanced playmaker, I believe, does drop down actually to a supportive role. But realistically, everything does remain the same, and that's because we still want to maintain that sort of total football tactical approach. And obviously, if I started having, I don't know, like inverted wingers into the mix and things like that, they're then going to be playing in this pocket here. We're going to lose a player out on the wide area. So it really just isn't a logical way of playing if you want to play a total football style. But it's a very hard tactic to make. So hopefully you guys do enjoy watching the video and the tactic does really well for you. It's done well for me. If you guys have enjoyed today's video, please do leave a like and drop a little comment on what tactic you want to see next. And please do subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another upload.